Welcome back to our series. If you're enjoying these videos, can you do me a favor and subscribe to our channel? Now, let's get to it. We're going to finish the siding in this video, and as part of that, you'll see us put in a couple of doors. Now, doors, windows, and siding are all connected. They're all exterior trim work, and the installation really happens simultaneously. We're not going to draw a lot of attention to the doors in this video, though, because we decided we're going to cover that in detail in the next video when I install the entry door. But as a teaser, they're a lot like the windows. Doors fasten to the rough jamb. You use shims, screws, and nails to make sure that the door is plumb. Make sure that it operates smoothly. Make sure it has nice reveals. Now, installing a door is sort of iconic carpentry work, isn't it? And the quality of the installation is a permanent display of the craftsmanship of whoever did it. The doors need to be installed first, so the siding can finish right up to the door trim itself. This trim board is the same material as all of the other trim on the house and provides a visual transition from the lap siding to the sidewall shingles on the gable ends. Around here it's called a belly band, and with a rabbet or a long notch cut out of the lower back edge and a Z-metal flashing at the top, it's a very handsome and waterproof design feature. Above the belly band, on the gable end, we're installing a different fiber cement board product. This one is called fiber cement shingle siding. It's the same material as the lap siding, with a completely different look and a completely different cost. If we wanted to save some money, we could just proceed right on up to the peak of the roof line with more lap siding, because the lap siding is less expensive and it goes up a lot quicker with a lot less waste. And besides that, you don't have to buy or install the belly band. But the shingles provide a really classic look. They add interest, and although it does cost more money, in our opinion and for this house, it was very much worth it. The secret to installing these things is to first double up the layer on the first course, and then never lose track of the 16-inch layout moving on up the wall. There are only two different shingle patterns. Let's call them an A and a B. And if you start from a center line, work both ways, stick to the 16-inch layout and pay attention, the vertical lines will never line up with the course below, and the breaks between the shingles themselves will always be covered by the one above. It's magic. However, if you've never installed this stuff before, do yourself a favor and start on the back side of the house to begin with, if you can.
I've had so many people take in their roosters back and be like, no, he's too mean to the chickens. I'm like, that's how they do it.
That's how it happened.
That's how God made that.
That's right.
I didn't train them to do that. I give you some water.
You're watching Jim Dory work and install this siding from ladders on this gable end, which is not ideal. If you watch my video on heavy equipment, you'll know that we have just sold our telehandler with the man basket, and so we're stuck doing this the old-fashioned way. All of our scaffolding is still set up on the opposite end of the house, so we're just getting this gable end done with ladders. And yes, it's slower. And yes, it's more dangerous. But it's not that bad when you have a couple of guys, because one guy can basically stay at the top of the ladder, more or less, and the other guy on the ground can spot him and pass the material up. Saves a lot of up and down, and provides another set of eyes just to make sure nothing's going to go bad.
Yeah.
Anytime two pieces of lap siding butt into each other in the same course, you want to make sure you've got factory ends meeting factory end. This way, each side of the cut is perfectly square, the siding has not been disrupted by a cut, and behind each joint, even with the gable ends, we are scrupulously focused on installing a piece of something called butt flashing, which is a little piece of metal sheet that attaches to the wall and creates a barrier for any moisture that gets through at the joint itself. Now with the shingle siding, this is not necessary because the joints are completely backed up by the previous piece in the course below, just like shingles on a roof. But with lap siding, you've got to have some sort of a piece of flashing behind each joint. The manufacturer of this siding recommends an 1/8 inch gap at each end of each run, whether it's lap siding or shingle siding. This does at least two good things for the siding system. First, it leaves the right amount of space for the caulking to be worked far back and down into the joint. And second, the manufacturer claims that this leaves room for the house itself to expand and contract without disturbing the siding. Now, I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but I'm following their guidelines anyhow. You can seldom go wrong by following the manufacturer's guidelines on installation methods. Now, in addition to that, let me say one more time that the long overhangs that were so painful to build, coupled with the low average wind velocity around here, will guarantee that very, very, very little water is ever going to touch these walls. As you can see right here, we are protecting our brand new Tamco shingles with these pieces of 3-inch thick, 3-foot wide foam rubber. You're going to see more and more of this type of thing as the house moves along, meaning that we've got to spend more and more effort protecting the finished surfaces from the damage that can be caused by the ongoing construction. These foam pads are nifty. They're an exceptional safety item because they stick to the roof like Velcro, and boots, tools, and these little platforms I made really stick to the foam. So not only are they protecting the roof, but they're keeping these guys working safely. I can't recommend this trick highly enough.
How many you got?
Probably get dead up to his ears, $1 million.
Just as important as making sure that the first course is level and straight is making sure that the courses match up in elevation around the corners, especially between about 4 feet off the ground and 8 feet off the ground, because this is the area that is subject to public scrutiny forever. Before we sign off, there's just a couple things. And the first is this. If you're going to do cement board siding, you got to have a siding shear. There's virtually no dust. You're not going to cut your finger off. It's controllable. Anybody can learn to operate it. Don't mess with this stuff if you don't have one of these. The other thing is, in the earlier video, I made a mistake. This is not an 18 gauge nailer, it's a 15 gauge nailer. And a lot of you picked up on that and said, hey moron, those are not 18 gauge guns because an 18 gauge pin nailer is not going to hold these boards up, but a 15 gauge nailer will. So, just cleaning up a little mistake, and got to tell you, I appreciate you watching our channel, and I hope you can keep up the good work.